Have you ever felt like life just doesn't go your way, no matter how hard you try? Yeah, we've all been there. Have you ever found yourself frustrated when someone refuses to see the common sense in the solutions you offer to help them out of a bad situation? Yeah. Perhaps you've been stuck in a rut, grappling with a roadblock that prevents you from moving forward to achieve your goals. That's pretty frustrating, isn't it? Well, frustration is common. It's even natural. And I'm here to say that the struggle is real. We give ourselves over to frustration when we can't see the truth of a situation or find a problem. We all experience it. But the key difference is how we handle it. How do you handle frustrations? Most of us learn to work through our frustrations. We problem solve. We accept the solution, or we find a way to maneuver around those obstacles the best that we can. Challenges may hinder us, but they're meant to help us grow. Those challenges push us to excel and evolve. Embodying the human condition of perpetual growth and transformation is what it means to be human. But for a narcissist, however the frustration gets, for them it's not an occasional experience. It's a constant state of being. Narcissists live in a self-made world of destruction rooted deeply in frustration. When they encounter problems, they don't just seek solutions through honesty and reflection. Oh no. Instead, they resort to lies and more lies and manipulation and undermining others to achieve what they perceive as success. Hi, Nathaniel. Nice to see you. The narcissist's mind operates differently. It's as if their mental wiring is crossed, kind of like trying to connect a VCR to an old television. You might get sound but no visuals, or you get visuals and no sound, because somewhere along the extensive length of cording, the right connection wasn't made. You know, the red connector wasn't connected to the red housing on the back of the TV unit, as there's usually those color-coded connections, the red, yellow, and white connection wires. And when you're trying to link up a VHS box, the modem box, the satellite dish to the back of your old TV, sometimes things go haywire. They get tangled. Well, the narcissist, their brain is like that. It's a tangled mess. Much like trying to untangle even a ball of yarn that will never be sorted out. The chaotic mental state of the narcissist keeps them in perpetual frustration because they lack the ability to self-reflect, self-assess. They can't identify the real core issues at hand. It's everybody else's fault, right? So instead of learning from their frustration, narcissists amplify it. Their frustration breeds anger, and their anger fuels aggression. Somebody's having a shower upstairs. There we go. Unlike the rest of us, who may briefly become aggressive in moments of frustration, we learn to grow. Narcissists weaponize their aggression to get what they want. It's akin to over-tightening a bolt until the threads on the bolt are stripped, destroying any hope of a stable connection. This aggressive approach damages relationships, often making them irreparable, because the aggression of the narcissist has sinister motives. See, the narcissist pushes your buttons and we rage, but their rage and our rage is different. When they push our buttons to the point where we're triggered and we rage, the narcissist, well, what they're doing is rage abuse. They're provoking a response out of us that we otherwise, if we were in different circumstances, we otherwise would not exhibit. We would not rage because that's not normally in our nature. But the narcissist, the rage is normally in their nature. Excuse me. So we're going to get into that, why that is, because the narcissist, again, they think differently than us. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining Positively Spiritual. This is a spiritual healing hub to help you understand your divinity while disentangling yourself from toxic people. Now, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a tickle in my throat. I've had the heater on in this room to keep the air warm in the basement for a little blessing, our little pipsqueak, our little almost 4-week-old squirrel. And I think I've got this tickle in my throat because it's dry air in here. So please bear with me. So, let's just get back to this video, because this rage, this aggression, this frustration from the narcissist is a real thing, and it's dangerous. Really, it is. While every narcissist may not show danger, like they, let me see here. Oh, can't do it. Okay. So, speaking of squirrel, he's awake. Huh. He's in his little box scratching around. He should be sleeping. He's obviously getting better. He's getting strength. So anyways, let's just get back to this, because the narcissist is dangerous. I mean, not all narcissists exhibit the same kind of danger, but all narcissists are dangerous because they abuse. They use and abuse. Anyone who has to lie to you is dangerous because they're hiding the truth from you. They can't be trusted. So narcissists are perpetually frustrated, and when things do not go their way, they lash out. This relentless frustration stems from a deep-seated belief that they are infallible and superior. When reality contradicts this delusion, their ego suffers a narcissistic injury, a wound they can neither acknowledge nor heal. They bury this injury under layers and layers and layers of deception and aggression. So they don't even know why they're frustrated, and they don't even know why they're aggressive, because there's just so many instances where they were frustrated, they became aggressive, and they never addressed the reason why. So they just use their frustration to fuel further manipulation and to gain control over the situation by controlling other people. Their infallibility of self-reflect means that, their inabilities to self-reflect means that they can never ask themselves, what am I doing wrong? I mean, that's something that we often ask ourselves when we're frustrated. We're like, what gives? What's the problem? What's the deal? Like, really, what's going on? And we take the time to investigate that out. Instead, the narcissists, they force square pegs into round holes, beating that poor peg, disregarding the damage done to both the peg and the hole. Their sole concern is achieving their goal, no matter the cost. Hello, global solidarity. Nice to see you. And global solidarity says the danger with insecure people is underrated. Thinking about returning to toxic people is a mistake. Many hope they will be better. Yeah. I can certainly attest to that. I went to the narcissists, back to them a few times, and I allowed the narcissist back into my life thinking that, oh, this time will be different. And with each different narcissist, the gameplay is still the same. They don't change. They won't learn. Do I dare go get this little squirrel? He's moving about. He might start squeaking. I'll leave him. Maybe I'll go back to sleep. So, in their frustration, narcissists are extremely dangerous. Yes, the danger can be lethal or just destroy your dreams. Exactly. And that's what we're going to touch on here in this video tonight, because I don't know if it's just me, but I'm thinking narcissists out there, now that narcissism is out in the open, it's kind of like they're more bold. They're becoming more bold. And because like they don't care. What did they have to lose? Either you take me or you leave me. It's like, and there are lots of people in this world who still succumb to the narcissistic ways and think, they love me, I can change them. No. So the rage that they have is not just against you, it's against everyone and everything in their environment. There's always someone or something to blame. They may throw objects, punch walls, destroy property, perceiving the world as faulty when it doesn't conform to their expectations. And I mean, they'll do worse things than that, and we can't say that on YouTube. Oh, he's squawking. Just a sec. Hello, baby. What's the matter? Where are you? Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Here's the squirrel. You guys see him? Look at how long his face is. He's grown in his face. His skull is grown. Tomorrow will be a week since we found him. So, hi Razor Vard, nice to see you. And you're saying that they will throw away your personal belongings several times. Crazy behavior, absolutely. So global solidarity says even a good day for a toxic one will be full of deceit. Yeah, exactly. Their good day is when they ruin yours. So, oh, he's just, I'm wearing, oh, he's moving around now. Yeah, I'm wearing a shirt that has a pouch, a kangaroo pouch on it, so I'm just going to put him in my pouch, keep him warm. So, yeah, it's when you see, like, this is why it's good to understand behavioral. It's good to understand body language. And it's good to understand and notice the facial micro expressions on somebody. Global says, why do we hope the narc will change for the better? Because we don't yet understand that they are who they are and they can't change. Because I know in my case, speaking for myself, I had narcissistic tendencies. Didn't mean that I was a narcissist. I still had empathy. I just, like, in my youth, I was not given the opportunity to deal with my inner pain of being a foster child and having, some, pains dealing with being taken away from my mom and witnessing her abuse on me and other people and herself because she was an alcoholic. And my foster parents would not allow me to talk about my memories. And in fact, I was supposed to pretend that I didn't have a family, that they were my family now, but they didn't treat me as a family. They didn't say, tuck me in at night. They didn't say, I love you. I was like lashing out in that, you know, in my pain, and that just further caused me and my family, you know, division. So I developed some toxic behavior where, yes, I raged, but I changed. And so I guess for a lack of better word, I'll say, I want to say codependence, but no, I'll say my attachment deficit was that after I began healing and changing my demeanor and working out my problems and really facing my fears and facing those challenges, I began to assume that because I changed, the narcissist could change. And I always saw something in them that reminded me of myself, of the old me. And so I was sympathetic, and I gave them my empathy, and I allowed myself to weaponize my empathy towards them, and it just ended up hurting me. And I think that was secretly as a way for me to punish myself for the things that I did in my rage. And it was probably as a way to secretly punish my parents for abusing me as I abused myself. So there's a lot of subliminal, you know, things, deep psychology, dark psychology that goes on in the mind of those of us who have been abused. And, you know, you don't notice this until you're out of it, and you don't notice all of this stuff until you can look at yourself honestly and admit it and say, yeah, I acted that way, and yeah, this is the reason, and oh, that's an interesting reason. I never thought of that before, because some concepts I haven't thought of before about myself that just came up now. And yeah, I can see that in myself, totally. So, hi Jim, nice to see you. So Global Solidarity says the failure of the physical world leads many to the spiritual lifestyle. Ooh, I like that. Good one. So Jim believes in the flat earth. And Global says that if life is a mirror, the toxic one reveals who we are. Loving to a fault. Absolutely. As the narcissist also reveals to us how we are unloving to ourselves when we're loving to a fault to other people. So, you know, just as we demand the narcissist, stop ignoring me. Pay attention to my feelings. Stop being so emotionally vacant. Stop using my vulnerabilities against me. We do exactly that to ourselves, and that's what they're showing us if we're willing to listen. Jim, I have to say, I have to agree with you. I know this isn't the topic, but I want to address what you said. And yes, I do believe the earth is flat. Don't know what kind of flat that looks like, but I don't believe that our earth is the CGI concepts that we've been shown from alleged space. That's all I'm going to say. So getting back to this narcissistic frustration, see, they have an inability to ask themselves questions like why. Flat is the state of mind concept. I like that. They're not able to ask why. Why am I like this? Why am I doing this? Why am I repeating this pattern of behavior? Why is life just getting me down? Like, how can I fix it? How can I change it? And instead, they take that frustration out on everybody else. They rage against everyone and everything in their environment, and it can look ugly. And for, you know, satisfying YouTube, so this video doesn't get pulled, we can't say, and we can't mention the type of violent, but it can get very violent with the narcissist. So it's important to read the body language, hear in the tone of voice, recognize the tells or the tricks in the facial expressions that let you know that someone's getting angry. You know, clenching the jaw, pursing the lips, scowling, heavy breathing, sighing, pacing, you know, slapping things down, opening and closing cupboard doors more loudly than normal, stomping around, like you know when somebody's agitated. So you know not to poke the bear, excuse me. Now, the reason, okay, Jim says many people are narcissistic. Absolutely. It used to be 1 in 3 people, but now it's closer to half the population or more is narcissistic. Because the narcissists are coming out of the woodwork because they've got nothing to hide now. And now many of them are coming out and acting as benevolent people, sharing with the public, oh, I'm a self-aware narcissist, diagnosed self-aware narcissist, and I'm here to help the public become aware of narcissism, and here's why I do the things that I do, and here's the reasons why I do what I do to you, because I lack empathy. Many of them are just parroting already the literature. I wrote this book, Narcissism, the Bad Boy Image. Of course it's not gender specific, but I just called it the Bad Boy Image because that was the main issue. Even though my mother was a narcissist, the boyfriends and ex-husband that I had were narcissists. Like, the majority of my experience has been with male narcissists, with a few female narcissists there, yes. But I wrote this book going back to my childhood, where I could identify narcissism in my dysregulated behavior in my childhood, in my teenage years. This was a self-assessment for myself as well. Because as a foster child, whether there was help or therapy for foster children, I never received it. I had a social worker come into my home, my foster home, every month to assess me, to ask me specific questions, and these questions were abusive. And thank God I didn't give in to that, because, you know, if I would have said the right things, what these people were looking for, I would have probably been shuttled out of that house and put into some other more toxic foster home that, you know, we know the foster care industry today. They prey upon children. So, oh, I'm glad you like it, Joe. Joe says that he started reading the book. It's good stuff. Awesome. I'm glad you like it. Jim says, my brothers and mother were both self-centered narcissists. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, narcissism, the bad boy image. Yeah, that's right, Global. So I wrote it from the perspective of, you know, my encounters with narcissism, but I really dug deep and really asked myself and took a look at, you know, I asked myself the important questions that I wanted to know, because turning to other narcissists for help, like HD tutor, I don't like calling people out, but that person is a problem. He's scandalous for accolades. You can see it. And excuse me, you know, I don't just want to tell people what they want to hear. We're here to heal. And so I asked myself, reflecting on my own narcissistic tendencies in my youth and in my early 20s, before I even knew God, before I even recognized that there was toxicity in me. I mean, I don't like to admit this, but I have before, and I will again. I will continue to admit it if it helps you. If it helps you to figure out how to alleviate your own anger issues and stop you from alienating yourself from your own children and your own family, then I'm here to tell you that my anger issues, my narcissism that I had because of trauma, I alienated my own children against me. I abused them. I verbally abused them. I verbally tried to control everything they did because I was robbed of a childhood. I didn't know how to get down on their level and be childlike with them. No, I assumed that they were just supposed to understand what I was talking about. And I'm not making any excuses. I did try to right the wrong, and they decided not to take me up on that offer, and that's fine. God bless them. I love them. I love them dearly. But they're grown people. They can make their own choices, and I'm not going to force myself on them. I carried around a lot of guilt, and Joe says that just goes to show you that they know what they are doing. Yeah, and it doesn't help that they have, a parent, not me, but their other half of the parental control controls them now, and he's made it clear, either you choose her or me, and they made their choice, and that's fine. I mean, how can I hold it against them? I mean, that'd be wrong. I made the choices that I did when I was young, and I have to deal with it, as we all do. And so this book was to help me share with you guys that we do share something in common with the narcissist. We do share unhealed trauma, we do share unhealed pain, and we just process it differently. And what you do with that trauma is always your choice. And we can't make the excuse, oh, but I was traumatized, so I did this and this and this, and then not change your behavior and just expect society to accept us as we are and say, oh, you poor dear, you were traumatized, and so you hurt your kids, and you controlled them, and you controlled your family, and you were aggressive. And no, you got to take responsibility for your own actions. You have to, because you want the world to change. Changing the world starts with changing yourself. You got to be that change that you want to see in the world. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. And for me, when I read in the scripture that God abhors anger, that scared me. That scared me to change. So, in their twisted logic, the narcissist sees you as an extension of themselves, existing only to serve their needs. And when you don't comply with their expectations, their aggression escalates as a means to force you into submission. They dehumanize you and objectify you, reducing you to a mere pawn in their mind, a tool to be manipulated to fit their distorted reality. When a narcissist rages, it's really a terrifying experience. Their anger is like a storm, unpredictable and all-consuming. They may lash out physically or verbally, using their aggression to punish you for not conforming to their will, and they will do it in front of people and behind closed doors. They don't care. Once that rage hits, it doesn't matter who sees. It doesn't matter who's... You know what? I'm going to say that with many a narcissist, They like the audience. Their rage, if bystanders see them freak out, they like the audience because it makes them feel powerful, because they assume that the audience is going to fear them. And having that kind of fear makes a narcissist feel very powerful. So it's really crucial for you to prioritize your safety. Don't turn your back on a narcissist. Just because they're nice to you doesn't mean that they are genuinely being nice to you. When your back is turned, there's a dagger, a spiritual dagger. They're putting in your back with their eyes. They're staring you down. They're watching your every move and picking you apart behind your back. Nathaniel, can you just please be quiet and listen or leave? Thank you. So when the narcissist rages, what do? Like, you can't stop them. Or can you? I don't recommend you try to stop them. Like, you can definitely appeal to their better nature, but it's best just to find an exit and leave if you can. Or if you can't leave, just remain calm, avoid showing emotion, and do your best to de-escalate the situation in a way where you're not combative. Like, don't challenge. This is not the time to challenge a narcissist. Seriously. Global Solidarity says, hard to imagine there are people that have no boundaries. It is hard, but you know what? A narcissist has no boundaries. And they chip away at the boundaries that we lack. Like, we've got some of them, but we're weak because we're not yet self-aware or strong enough in our own self-resolve to hold ourselves to those boundaries. It's like, you want an ice cream, don't you? No, I'm on a diet. Oh, come on. Let me buy you an ice cream. No, I really shouldn't. I'm on a diet. Oh, come on. They've got your favorite flavor at the store just down the block here. I can, it's no problem. Okay, maybe one. That is a weak boundary where you state your boundary. I'm on a diet. And the narcissist knows that ice cream is your weakness. You gotta say no, even when you want to say yes. Sometimes you gotta say no because it's in your best interest to. But that's just a small example of how a weak example or a weak boundary is revealed to a narcissist. And then once you let go of that boundary, it's like the narcissist is like, yeah, that was a piece of cake. I can worm my way into that. What? That wasn't even a challenge. What other boundaries? I want to see a challenge. So let me poke the bear and push their buttons and test them a little bit to see where their boundaries are. And narcissists will even become aroused at doing that. It's disgusting. They take pleasure in your pain. So when you're in front of a narcissist who is raging, put some distance between the two of you. Even put a chair or, put a barrier between the two of you, a chair or a table, something of, substance in between you, just to, it psychologically helps to keep you out of that fight and flight mode and in a state of panic, putting a barrier between you is actually, excuse me, a soothing gesture. Excuse me. So, global solidarity says it's almost like a playground of activity. The toxic one believes anything goes. Absolutely. They can throw rocks at you. They can push you off the swing, push you down the slide. It's no problem. You'll get over it. You're their toy. You're their plaything, object to be used and abused. And global also says, if man made in image of God are the toxic ones of the whole, and for what reason? Well, God made man in his image, and his image is love, unconditional love. There was somebody else who was created in a certain image, and that's the narcissist. You can read that in Genesis. The Bible alludes to it. The Hebrew word, when you translate the Hebrew word from the English Bible, there are some key words when describing the interaction that Eve had with the enemy or the snake. It wasn't a snake. The Bible describes the character of people, wayward people, people who are not of God. The Bible describes people who are not of God with animal characteristics. We see that with Jesus saying, don't throw your pearl before swine. Watch out for wolves in sheep's clothing. I mean, the woman who asked Jesus if he could heal her, and he's like, I am here to heal, and I am here for basically my family. And she's like, yes, but even the dogs eat from the scraps from the family's table. And from what she said, Jesus took her in right away and healed her and helped her. She is the one that called herself a dog. So we're likened to trees, different types of trees, where our fruit that we bear is righteous fruit, and the unrighteous fruit of the enemy is sour grapes. So there's lots of metaphors in scripture. So when you take scripture back into the original Hebrew, you get a different idea of what really went on in the Garden of Eden. And God basically told Adam and Eve, you shall not touch that tree, meaning you shall not, excuse me, you shall not touch it in a way to bear fruit in the way of children. You shall not allow yourself to become pollinated by that tree. And even though our Bibles do not say such things, in the Hebrew wording, it is very specific. And then you look at the curse where after Adam and Eve disobey God, God comes back into the garden and he curses all three, and he says to the enemy, you know, when he clips his wings and says, you know, you're going to crawl on your belly now. But to the enemy, he also says, and your children, I will put enmity between your children, your seed, and hers, meaning Eve's seed. So there is a distinction that God's image is found in man, and the enemy's image is also found in man. And Jesus said to the Pharisees and Sadducees, or the teachers who were challenging Jesus, he said, you are of your father the devil. He was an unaliver from the beginning. I have to change that word. But he said he was an unaliver from the beginning. Who was the other one who hurt somebody and took their life? Cain. Unaliving somebody did not come from Adam and Eve's loins. Like, that was not in their genetic makeup. They were made to love each other. They were made in love, as God is love. In him there is no darkness, as he is light. And I think it's 1 John, or is it John, that says God is love. It's full stop. God is love. What kind of love are we talking about? Certainly not the conditional love of the narcissist, certainly not the conditional love of the narcissist, but unconditional love that is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. Yes, we have heard about the Anunnaki. Pete, nice to see you, Pete. Hello. Hello, everyone. So, if you can keep yourself safe from the rage of the narcissist, leave. Find an exit and leave. Put some distance between the two of you. But if you can't leave, then try to put a barrier in between you and the raging narcissist, because that barrier will help to calm you down. So it's important to understand that the narcissist they can't get away from this frustration. This frustration just lies just underneath the surface of their mask that they use to keep up appearances with. And they believe that they have the power and the control to control and have power over everyone and everything. They live in a perpetual state of competition, driven by a deep fear of being outshone or threatened. And this fear is what fuels their aggression and keeps them locked in a never-ending cycle of frustration and rage. And here's the thing, you may think that they're raging at you, but chances are it's not you. It's somebody in their life that, they interacted with during the day. Or maybe they had a phone conversation. Maybe they had an interaction with their boss. Maybe they had an interaction with their other source of supply. And you just happen to say or do something that displeases the narcissist in that moment, and you're feeling the heat. You're getting it when you don't deserve it. Nobody does, but their rage isn't directed at you, but yet it is. So this narcissistic rage is a dangerous force, and it's something that they carry with them at all times, even if they don't always show it. They may seem calm on the surface, but beneath that facade is a simmering rage, and men and women both show this. Look into Sanpaku eyes. It's the Sanpaku eyes is a Chinese term for looking at the sclera, the whites in somebody's eyes. You can have the whites, like if you look at my eyes, you don't see white above or below my eyes, but when you see the whites above and below, there's mental issues and serious mental issues. And oftentimes the narcissist will show Sanpaku eyes. They'll bug their eyes out, we bug our eyes out in a moment of fear or surprise. It's like, like that. But it's like when they do that, you can see the sclera all around their pupil, all around their iris. Excuse me. Razor says, yes, I have noticed this also in some people. Yeah, and it's just, if you can research it, it's very fascinating because the eyes will tell you just how volatile they are. They're ready to pop. They're ready to explode at you. So Joe says they project their feelings onto others. That can be good and bad. They change like the wind. Yeah, they project their feelings onto others, and they can say some pretty hurtful, mean things that can never be taken back. I always say trust the rage. That's the person who you are dealing with in the rage. That is who they are. That is exactly who they are. And they will tell you the truth in that moment of rage. So what they're saying, believe them. What they're doing, believe them. Because that's who they are. They are, in that rage, the monster comes out. And the monster is their true self. And they project their internal chaos onto those around them, making those people scapegoats for their unresolved fears and insecurities. And we talked about scapegoating the other day. In the end, the narcissist is a bitter soul, consumed by a need for vengeance and control. They may profess love to you, but it's a hollow sentiment used to manipulate and deceive you. Because when the narcissist says, "Oh, I love you," you let your guard down and you're willing to do what you need to do for them in love. So behind their charming exterior lies a cold and calculating mind, and it's constantly plotting to maintain their dominance and protect their fragile ego. So they went into, okay, if ever you're thinking this is, it's my fault, I shouldn't have got them to become angry, I shouldn't have caused them to rage, I shouldn't have, said this or done that, that is enabling them. It's not your fault. The narcissist hides the monster behind that superficial charm when they meet you. They went into a relationship with you hiding the monster. They went into the relationship taking the monster with them. And it's only a matter of time before you see their boogeyman. And Joe says, that's your emotions being played. Absolutely. They play your emotions. And it's hard at first, but trust your instincts. And remember that their reality is not your reality. They think differently than you. You are not just merely okay, you're just an object to them. Okay, you are an object in their mind. Now, in reality, you are a person with your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own boundaries. But to the narcissist, that doesn't exist because you exist entirely in their mind. So protect yourself and be vigilant, because for the narcissist, frustration and their aggression can lead to life-threatening consequences if you're not careful. I've seen it happen. And, a narcissist will either threaten your life or threaten theirs as a way to punish you. So protecting yourself from narcissistic rage requires a strategic determination from you. Do not let your guard down. Your main areas of focus is to set an emotional and physical distance from the narcissist. It has to be you to detach your emotions from the narcissist. Set your boundaries and maintain your self-care. Because it's really important to understand this concept that the narcissist objectifies you. That's right, Joe. It's really sad because the narcissist will never experience love. Well, they have experienced love, they just can't see it. They shun it. It's like they shun it, just like how you shun evil, they shun good. You know, just like how we shared this in the live last night, that as how you have an inherent mechanism in you that will not allow you to cross the immoral line. Like there is a moral boundary that the Holy Spirit in you holds you to. Okay? Because you have a conscience. And yeah, that just don't make any sense to me. I know, Joe, I know. And so with the narcissist, they are opposite of who you are. And how they think is not how you think. There is, our brains are quite remarkable. And the mind of a narcissist is, sorry, I'm a little distracted here. He's moving about. So the mind of a narcissist is underdeveloped, it's stunted, it doesn't have functioning neurons and synapses. Like the neural pathways of the narcissist is different than in a brain of a loving human being. When a narcissist rages, when they are aggressive, when they accuse you, when they're in their fight or flight brain, that is a primitive brain inside of all of us. And if you're fearful, it's the chemical releases in your brain that are the serotonin and adrenaline, and they evolved from the primitive brain, or what is also called a reptilian brain. It is what keeps you safe. And just like when you're anxious, blood flow stops from your limbs, and the blood is centered around your major organs to protect your major organs. This is why we get hypothermia. So for a narcissist, they're always in that state of fight or flight, and that is self-preservation. And so it's like all other areas of the brain are shut off, especially in the areas of emotion and trying to come up with a solution, brainstorming, learning, because in the primitive mind, it's focused on survival, self-preservation. Nathaniel, your name, sorry. You don't have to be here if you don't want to listen. That's all I'm going to say. So if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, and I'm not going to address these comments anymore. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. No, thank you. So Joe says, yes, they appear to be very insecure in themselves. Again, that's why they need supply. Yeah, and their brain they're set, like, you can't change it. They're set on fight or flight. So they're either going to run from you, which most likely they're not going to do because they see you as being weaker. So why are they going to run from somebody that is inferior? So they're going to fight you. So this is how they operate. And they're in the fight and flight mode when they're interacting with you, and they're putting on this persona like, oh yeah, everything's fine, I had a good day at work, and things are good, and here I bought you flowers, blah, 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 let's go on a date together, let's go have some family time together, whatever it may be. They're saying that to put you at ease because your mind doesn't solely operate on the primitive brain. It operates, your mind is fully functioning. You're reasoning, you're in touch with your emotions, you're reflecting. And when you're put at ease, you're not in the fight or flight mode. And when you're at a state of ease, you don't see the narcissist coming. It's snake-like. Have you ever seen a snake attack its prey? It's stealthy. It hangs downwind so their prey doesn't smell them coming. And the snake usually attacks from the front or the behind and latches on and wraps its body around its prey to smother it. And that's exactly what happens with us. We are dismantled in the way of we are put at ease by the narcissist to ensure that we will not operate in the fight or flight mode, the self-preservation mode, and fight back. And so when the narcissist uses this superficial flattery and love bombing for us, it's a way to disarm us. And then once they have their in our lives, that's when they strike. And they smother us and wrap the snake-like bodies around us in order to strangle us and prevent proper airflow. They bombard us with things like gaslighting, manipulation, the rage, the aggression, the button pushing. They throw everything at us all at once, so we're dazed and confused, and we're charged up in our emotions, and we're releasing our emotions and sadness and crying before the narcissist, begging for mercy. But they have no mercy. So how can you better protect yourself from this frustration, aggression? Recognize the signs, educate yourself, learn about body language. Learn about the body language and the baseline from the narcissist that you know. Like, learn to read and observe the narcissists that you know. They have certain tells that let you know that they're about to explode. There's usually a window of opportunity that allows you to get the heck out of Dodge before they start throwing things and yelling and raging. The signs are in their body language. The sign is all over their face. Razor Vard says, even the silent treatment has body language that you can read. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can also, once you understand and recognize the signs, it's in your best interest to set firm boundaries. Clearly define what behavior is acceptable and what is not. I will not talk to you when you're yelling at me. And if you yell at me and you go against what I've asked, if you yell at me one more time, you will leave me with no choice but to leave the room. You give them the option, the opportunity to curb their temper. If they don't, then you leave the room. You make good on what you say. You have to follow through. You have to, because if you don't, that's where the narcissist sees you're weak. You have to stand up to the narcissist by holding to firm boundaries. And you've got to consistently consistently hold the boundary line. You've got to enforce and reinforce those boundaries from now on. It's never going to let up. You can never let your guard down. Just because the narcissist, and sometimes they will do this, just because they honor a boundary one time does not mean that they'll honor it all the time. You have to be vigilant and hold that boundary all the time. This is what it means to not trust the narcissist. Don't turn your back. If you said to the narcissist, no, I'm allergic to seafood, we cannot go to that all-you-can-eat buffet. Oh, come on, you'll be fine. No, I'm allergic. And you have to, they won't remember what you said because they will disrespect. They will disrespect you because they want to go to the all-you-can-eat buffet. You're the fun sucker because of your allergy. It's your fault. So either you're supposed to accompany them and eat what they eat or sit there and watch them eat. They don't care about your allergy. They don't care that it's life-threatening. So it's your responsibility for the longevity of that relationship that you have with the narcissist to hold that line and say, I said no. Have fun going by yourself or take somebody else with you. I am not going. Oh, come on. No, I said no. I'm not going. That is final. And walk away. Use assertive communication. Keep your responses clear and concise. Don't get into a long-winded explanation with them because that's what they want. Because when you enter into a long-winded explanation with them, it exposes you to frustration. Exactly, razor word. Is the N or the O? Which part of that do you not understand? Exactly. Exactly. I like that too. So number 3, avoid engaging in conflict with the narcissist. If you can avoid an argument with them, do so. Joe says it's so hard to do. It's codependency. How you can combat that is take a look at your life right now and look at the things that you want to do and the things that you don't do. Like you want to do, but you don't do. Like say you have a shed and it's been sitting there for months, maybe even years, untouched. And there's things in there from, I don't know, from your last move. And you're like, I really need to go through that shed. But you don't. Why do you not do that for yourself? Ask yourself questions. Why is it that you're not attending to that shed? What is in that shed? Is there memories that you might be avoiding? Are you avoiding the work because you just don't want to do it? There's a reason why you don't want to do it. There's a reason why you're procrastinating. And when you figure that out, you will be able to put up boundaries for yourself, because God says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Any excuses from the evil one. And he's not just talking about saying that to other people. He's saying that about yourself. Yes, I will go clean out the shed today. And honor that for yourself. Let your word be your bond to yourself. Become reliable and trustworthy to yourself. So you can figure out and deal with your codependency by taking a look at the boundaries that you are not keeping for yourself. Like for me, my boundary, one of my things is I have eating issues. I eat my feels. When I'm upset, I turn to food. So I used to go for a second and third plate of food. So I had to put up that boundary for myself. I will only eat my one plate of food. And I don't have that craving. I don't have the urge to go for a second helping, because I've dealt with the reasons why I was going for that second plate of food. So that's just, you just gotta hone in on those boundaries that you keep or you don't keep for yourself. And journal. Take a journal and write down your questions. Why is it I do this? Why is it that I allow myself to do this? Why do I allow myself to, eat sugar when the doctor told me not to? Why is it that I'm sabotaging my own health? So Razorvard says, the interesting part, others do not look at you like the narc does. Remember, they matter also. Be kind to yourself. Absolutely. Well said. Thank you for that. Yeah. So don't argue with the narcissist. I mean, don't try to... This little guy is just like moving around. He should be sleeping. It's bedtime. So, but, just don't try to argue with the narcissist. Engage if you have to, but disengage your feelings with them. Don't take it personal. And when they're enraged, leave the room if you can. You'll notice the signs, because engaging with the narcissist and being combative with them only escalates the situation. Just remain calm and composed. That's it. Calm, cool, collected. And again, if you can, physically remove yourself from the situations, because the best response for a narcissist is to walk away and give them space to cool down. And it's also important for you to manage your own emotional responses. Stay emotionally detached from them. Don't take what they are doing to you personal, because they want you to believe it's personal, but it's not. This is who they are. They're showing you, and they're telling the truth on themselves. What are you doing, little man? He's moving around a lot. See that? He just kicks his legs. I think he's hungry, so we'll feed him in a little bit. So practice being mindful and practice the deep breathing methods that I've showed you on other videos. Take some time to meditate, and just, if you feel like you're getting stressed and that narcissist is pushing your buttons, just take some time to just breathe. Close your eyes, shut them out of your mind. Just breathe. Even though they're in the room and they're want, just close your eyes and just put your hand on your heart if you have to, because where your attention goes, how is it where the energy flows? So wherever you put your attention to, that's where you'll feel grounded. And, it's not anything that you have done. This is who they are. And if you can understand that I'm not just saying this, many people will say, oh, like we've been taught in school, when somebody picks on you, my parents used to say, oh, it means that they like you. When a boy picks on you in school, oh, they like you. No, it doesn't. Really understand that it's not just me or one person saying that their anger is their monstrosity. This really is who they are. And you'll notice this. When you go through this enough times, believe the rage, believe the anger, because that's their true nature. Oh, good. Joe has a journal. That's awesome. I love writing. Writing is so therapeutic. And it's awesome because you can just ask God a question and just write out your thoughts and just get close and personal and in touch with him in your heart. Global solidarity says many live in isolation, not having friends or money for professionals. Exactly. Um, you know, it's that's why, like, I personally really believe in self-help. Like, you know yourself best. You know what you need, as far as like even a doctor, like a physical health doctor or a mental health doctor. You know yourself best, and you know what you need, and you can give to yourself all the love in the all the love that you need in the world. And you can research. I mean, it's fun researching healing modalities, because that, like, you're spending time with yourself researching for you. You're investing your time and effort into you. You're getting to know you when you do this. So there's nothing wrong with turning to holistic help and self-help methods. There's nothing wrong with that. It's extremely beneficial. So, and you can seek support without finding, an expensive therapist. You can seek support. Like, this channel is a support system. We have a growing community who, you guys are awesome. You are really awesome, and you're there helping people who have questions and suggestions. And I really like that about all of you guys, that you're willing to extend your hearts to people. I like that about you. You guys are awesome. You're so loving, and it's just an honor to have this group of loving people here in this world where life is crumbling apart in front of us, it seems. So you can join a support group or start one on your own. Like, Facebook is good for that. So is Instagram and TikTok, if that's your fancy. And to keep yourself safe, document the encounters that you have with the narcissist when they become violent, because those can be used in a court of law if need be. Protecting yourself and writing down things and documenting helps you to, I just lost my place, helps you to remember what happened last time, because oftentimes we have selective memories because we want to give the narcissist the benefit of the doubt. And you're going to have some sort of documentation when the situation escalates and you need to seek legal protection, such as a restraining order. So also, you need to protect your energy by focusing in on self-care practices. Go exercise, go for a walk, seek out hobbies. Take in relaxation techniques to maintain your emotional health. Limit your exposure to the narcissist. The less contact that you have, the less opportunity they have to provoke you. Razor Vard says, yep, tried snow skiing. Could not parallel, but someone stopped me, got me in the correct body posture, and away I went. Sometimes it is okay to stop and take a listen. Find that pathway. That's exactly right. That's right. That's awesome. Global Solidarity says one can fold a piece of paper into a 6-page book, 4x4. It is more interesting than a journal. Absolutely. Make it your own. I've done that so many times. I used to do that for homeschooling. I used to keep a journal, and I used to, keep a record of what we did in class and the itinerary of what we were going to do. I made my own books. Make your own. Get creative. Paint. Get pastels involved. Make a collage. Put glitter on it, the pages if you want. Just Make it your own. Have fun. So when you find that you're in a narcissistic relationship, eventually you're going to want out. Plan an exit strategy. When the narcissist is showing signs of frustration, you can think ahead and find your exit strategy either in the moment or like you make an excuse to leave the room. The fact that you need to leave the room, well, that's a strong indicator that what will happen if you stay. Like, you don't have to guess. Because if you're having to leave the room just one time in the relationship, this is what you're going to be doing all the time in the relationship. And this behavior will follow you in the relationship. Like, you're going to have to endure it for the rest of your life. Is loving the narcissist at your expense worth it? Is it worth getting hit? Is it worth losing your life? Is it worth being injured and even permanently injured because they couldn't control themselves? Plan to get out for good before the narcissist is too toxic to handle and leaves you in a state of potential life-threatening harm. I've seen this before. It's not fun. If you realize that you are living in a toxic relationship, please consider getting out. Make a plan. And sometimes that plan is a long-term goal. Make your exit. Consult with a legal professional or a therapist if you have to. And some have free advice for an hour. Like, you can call a lawyer, and here in Canada, they will give you free advice for a half an hour or an hour, depending where you're at. And also on the internet, there is what is called Dial a Law, and that's a website that has lots of free information that you might be able to use. And lastly, stay educated. Educate yourself on narcissism. Learn all you can about narcissism and your symptoms. Understand the behaviors with narcissism, but also your behaviors through the narcissistic trauma, the trauma bonding, because knowledge can empower you to respond more effectively and help protect yourself. And always trust your instincts. Don't let go of that. If you feel threatened or you feel unsafe, don't force yourself to stay and say, oh, I need a reason. I need to see that I'm unsafe. No, if you are feeling it, you're feeling it. And Kundalini Yoga, Nathaniel says. Interesting. If you're feeling something in your gut, don't wait around for that instinct to be proven. It's better to be wrong and safe than to be right and permanently harmed and hindered in a way that takes away your quality of life. No one's, that's the thing. Love, true love, does not hurt. There's many songs that say love hurts, and no, love does not hurt. And so you have to ask yourself, and I've done this. I've asked myself, what is true love? Like, what is love? What makes love what it is? And it turns out that I didn't know what love was. I just went into narcissistic relationships seeking acceptance. Oh, somebody's paying attention to me. Somebody says they love me. Somebody's willing to spend time with me. That's not love. You got to get deep with those emotions and really ask yourself, what is it that I need? The definition of love for me is this, and what is it that I need to feel loved? And if you're not getting it, don't stick around. Don't settle. Life is too precious. You are too precious to settle. So I hope this video has helped you, and I hope that, you know, you can have some takeaways to help you understand that it doesn't matter if you're dealing with a parent, a child, a spouse, a friend, a coworker. That rage is always there. You may not see it, but somebody else has seen it, guaranteeing it. I guarantee it. So anyways, if you guys have questions, comments, or suggestions, you're welcome to email me at any time. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. I'm going to sign off now because this guy is getting restless and he needs to eat. He's hungry. So he's not going to sleep until he eats. So we're gonna feed him. So join me tomorrow night at 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. I think the kids go back to school Wednesday this week. So yeah, so we're gonna change our schedule to an earlier time slot. But send me your questions, comments, and suggestions. Maybe you guys got a question that you want me to answer on video. And please like, share, and subscribe. And have a good night, everyone. I love you, and thank you again for supporting each other and supporting this channel. You guys are awesome, and I love you. I really do. Mwah. Good night.